So there's one last T that I want to talk about in a little bit more detail. Toxicity. All right. So when we talk about toxicity, we're talking about any chemical changes within our body. All right. So we're really looking, again, when we look as chiropractors, we're really looking at the environment that someone puts their body into. And by changing the environment, either physically, chemically, or emotionally, we can start to actually affect the way that our body then handles disease. So we can either, if we increase the levels of toxicity, trauma, and thoughts in a negative aspect, then we start to see disease start to actually take place. So again, like all the other areas, there are things that we can do that will increase the level of toxicity in our body. There are things that we can do that will decrease the level of toxicity in our body. So some really simple examples of increased toxicity, stuff like too much sugar. We all know that sugar, especially fructose, is massively negative for the function of our body. Stuff like drinking too much alcohol, pollution, cleaning chemicals, these will all have an effect on our body, because essentially our body will still absorb these, whether this is through the skin, whether this is through our lungs, whether this is through our stomach. Our body can actually absorb things from our environment, and it will start to have a negative effect. Say, for example, something that's really obvious at the moment whilst the COVID virus is going on, is that obviously everyone is alcoholing their hands a lot. And what we're starting to see is people's hands are starting to become sore, red, and the skin is starting to peel. And that is a chemical reaction. Your body is making an intelligent response, and it's trying to tell you that actually you're putting too many chemicals onto the skin, and the skin cannot survive in that kind of an environment. So there are always things that we can do that will increase the level of toxicity in our body, but there are actually ways that we can decrease as well. So some of the things that we can actually do to decrease: eat an organic based diet, use organic cleaning products in our house. So stuff like vinegar, as opposed to necessarily using loads and loads of descale acids and bleach. We can eat whole foods rather than eating refined and artificially sweetened or sweetened with sugar type foods. We could also look at reducing stuff like our alcohol, our cigarettes, etc. So there are some really simple ways that you can automatically alter the chemical states within your body, because again, what we know is that sugar will increase the level of acidity, it will increase the levels of fatty acids that are circulating in our blood. Stuff like alcohol starts to affect our liver, creates fatty liver. Stuff like pollution in the air starts to affect and can cause chemical changes within our lungs. If you've ever had a look at a photo of someone who smokes versus not smoking, it's horrendous. However, if you actually have a look at what a normal, healthy adult's lungs look like in the 21st century today, what we actually see is that there are still pockets in the lungs that look like they are smokers, from where the levels of pollutions and stuff are actually dissolving in our lungs. And this is all having an impact. And the more you expose yourself to more chemical exposures, the more that's going to increase.